this Easter message I'm doing primarily for my three congregations because, of course, our churches are locked. It's Easter and we can't get into them at the moment because of coronavirus. So I'm doing this again in the chapel here at the orthopaedic hospital where I work as chaplain half-time. And it's a beautiful afternoon, but the Easter story begins in darkness. Before first light, John says that in darkness the women go to the tomb. And they ask each other how they're going to anoint the body of Jesus because there's a great stone in the way. And as they're talking, they hear a noise that Matthew says is like a violent earthquake. And the angel comes down and the guards run away. And the angel moves the stone off of the mouth of the tomb. And he sits on the stone and waits. And the women come. And they draw close in awe to the angel. And in Luke's version, the angel almost gently teases them. He says, why are you looking in a tomb, in the place of the dead, for someone who's alive? And that's their first clue, that this story, which has been so dark and tragic and painful, is about to flip over. It's about a somersault into a story of amazing and astounding joy. And they hurry back to the disciples who are locked in a secret location. They're in their own lockdown, of course, afraid to go out of their door because of the risks. They have no plans of going to the tomb that Easter morning. But what the women say changes everything, and they realise that it's time to open the doors and go out. So Peter and John, they run to the tomb. Later disciples journey to Emmaus, we know, and others went in different places. And even then, I think they've got a sense that although they're getting out again into life, it is never going to be the same again for them. That for the disciples, post-Easter life was going to be far richer and fuller, and they were never going to be afraid of anything again. We are going through our own time of passion still with this coronavirus. And we don't know whether the effect has peaked yet or whether it's going to plateau. We don't know whether there may be another wave yet to come of people infected that might be even worse than what we've known so far. We don't know for sure. But we do know one thing. It will pass. There will be an Easter, if you like, when this corona crisis is gone, when we can open our doors and get out again and get on with life. And yeah, we will feel the joy and the freedom of life. But do we want life to be the same as it was? For the disciples, life was never going to be the same again. Maybe for us, it needs to change. You know the comedian Miranda Hart, she did her own series, Miranda, on television. Faith showed me a couple of days ago a blog that she'd put on the internet. And she said, the question I want to ask for people who are now in lockdown is this: what don't you want to go back to in life? What are the things that you'd like to see change when all this is over? And I know this time has been and is a real struggle for many people. You know, I have not found it easy at times. Some days have felt very odd. I've missed you all terribly. I've missed being close to people. And yet I know that there are some really positive things that have come out for some people during this time. It has proved a time of blessing. It's proved a time when we have learnt things about ourselves and life, lessons that we don't want to forget. And I think that this Easter 2020, my Easter message is when we come into our resurrection, when we can open our doors and get out into life again after this crisis, what do we want to change? And I'm going to finish with some words by Kitty O'Mara. And these I found inspiring. And if there's a message of Easter hope for me, this is it. Let me read it to you. And the people stayed home, and they read books, and they listened to music, and they rested, and they exercised, and they made art and played games, and learned new ways of being, and were still. And they learned to listen more deeply. Some meditated, some prayed, some danced. Some people met their shadows, and some people began to think differently. And the people healed. In the absence of people living in ignorance, in mindless, selfish and heartless ways, the earth began to heal. And when the danger passed and the people joined together again, they grieved their losses, but they made new choices and dreamed new images and created new ways to live and to heal the earth fully, just as the people themselves had been healed. Happy Easter.